do with regard to these kinds of technologies. You can sort of simplify it, and if there's somebody here from Business Oregon, I probably won't get this exactly right, but that they sort of do the big the three R's of economic development. They try to recruit companies into the state, and they try to retain the companies that are here, and they try to renew the economy with new companies that spring up from our entrepreneurs and the people right here in the state. And those kind of companies tend to be very sticky because people live here, their kids are in school here, and so it's a great way to grow jobs in the state. And so Oregon Best is one of the initiatives that receives funding from Business Oregon, and we work right on the sort of the interface between small business in Oregon and the state universities, and we focus on what's called clean tech, but essentially think of it as technologies that make the planet a better place for us all to live, a cleaner place, and where we utilize our resources in a better fashion. So when I was thinking about this today, I actually went back and I looked at my email to see it was the first time I met Hiroshi. And I don't know if you realize this, but it was about this time of year, and it was 5 years ago. And when you see what you see here today, it's kind of important to understand the long journey that people like Hiroshi and his team take to get to this point. When you go back in the other room and you see the video screen, just peek behind the screen at the machine that's in the background with the tarp over it, and you'll see the size of the system back 5 years ago. And if legend is true, there was an earlier version that was based on a George Foreman rotisserie, which is actually where the work actually began. I think that's true. So anyway, I met Hiroshi, and given our interest in renewable energy and our connection with OSU, and I came to understand what he was trying to do, and he mentioned that one of the big questions was, when you do the tour and you see the torrifier up on the top of the stack, which is sort of the money part of the process, one of the questions was, how fast can I run this? How hot can I run this and still combust the VOC, the compounds that we don't want to have in the environment as pollutants? And that was an open question at the time. And so we connected him with Professor Malota at OSU, and they conceived of a study, and it was a good study, although like many things in science and engineering, there were some surprises, and actually good surprises. There were things that they hadn't thought of that might be important factors in all of that they discovered as part of that process, and those are things that have now been built into the process. So we, with funding from Oregon Best by way of Business Oregon, and also with funding that, I don't know if Senator Wyden realizes this, but we also were the recipients of a grant from the Economic Development Administration of the Department of Commerce under the I-6 Challenge program. So we had access to some of those funds as well. So we cobbled that together to provide funding to OSU to be able to do that work. And that's a good example of how Oregon Best works with both startup companies and with our universities. So you've heard already from Senator Wyden a lot of why this is a good technology and a good project. And we certainly saw both the potential for direct jobs at HM3, which would be great, but also a lot of potential indirect job creation in the state, with people collecting biomass, people constructing plants, people operating plants, transportation jobs associated with getting the product to domestic users or to export markets. So it's all a lot of indirect job benefits along with the direct benefits. So on behalf of Oregon Best, I just want to congratulate Hiroshi and his team on getting to this important milestone for HM3 and for the state of Oregon. I think the news today is that HM3 is open for business. They are ready now to go from a research and development phase into designing and supporting people who will be building production facilities both in the U.S. and around the world. So we're really lucky in this state, honestly, to have someone like Hiroshi take this problem on. He told me that he had retired and his wife kicked him out and said, "You're going to go crazy if you don't go do something." And he had a long reputation of solving these big, complicated process engineering problems. And he set his sights on this complicated problem, And it's been a long journey, but he's gotten to this important milestone. And we're lucky to have him, and I just want to say congratulations.